The story of T.I. and Shawty Lo is one of Atlanta hip-hop's most explosive chapters, proof of how fast respect.
If anybody know T.I., I know everybody at school or high school didn't like him, so I got a reward, man. If y'all send me the yearbook pictures or something that's showing where he from, man, I will pay y'all personally, man. You know what I'm saying? Say he got a phone conversation. If you tell it, we had a phone conversation, you need to tell me what the phone conversation was about. It was about you getting punched in the face at Club Pure of one of my goons, you know what I'm saying?
So he's causing friction with you. He's obviously calling you out. You know, he's obviously challenging the throne.
Yeah,
you know, which in my opinion is
if you could call it that.
Well, you know, you see it as competition. You don't take it personally.
I'm sorry.
Can flip into all-out rivalry. At first, both men were local legends holding down Bankhead in their own ways. T.I. grinding through music.
How y'all seen T.I.? Is he from Bankhead?
Man, we ain't seen no wearing these bricks, man. The real, man. Man, we already know who you be, Shawty Lo, baby, man. Why you say you pull up in that Bankhead? They already know, man. They already know who you be, man.
Shawty cementing his name in the streets. What makes this feud unforgettable is that it didn't stay locked in the booth with a couple of diss tracks. It bled into interviews, award shows, concerts, and even the streets themselves. To get why it turned so nasty, you gotta rewind to the early days before the tension really exploded. Back when T.I. was still hustling his way into the rap game, he wasn't the superstar people recognize today. When he dropped his debut video, I'm Serious, in 2001, Tip was just another hungry rapper trying to make noise. And here's the kicker. Many of the flashy cars in that video, they weren't even his. They belonged to Shawty Lo, who was already a force in Atlanta's streets.
A lot of times, you know, you find yourself in positions around people who don't like you, but most of the time, that's just because they don't like their damn self, you know?
Kicker. Many of the flashy cars in that video, they weren't even his. They belonged to Shawty Lo, who was already a force in Atlanta's streets. That right there shows how close they once were because Shawty even made a cameo strolling through the shot like family. At that point, the respect was mutual. T.I. respected Shawty's street status, and Shawty respected the young rapper chasing his dream. But as Tip climbed higher in the rap world and Shawty transitioned into music himself, the balance shifted, and not in a good way. When Shawty stepped away from his crew D4L to go solo, he thought a collab with Tip was a no-brainer. After all, he had looked out for T.I. back in the day, and now Tip was sitting on Grammys and holding the South on his back.
What kind of gun? Convicted felon. Remember the service? Go serve a year later on? You can't buy your weapon.
But when Shawty reached out, Tip brushed him off, saying he wasn't feeling the song. What sounded like a small rejection to T.I. cut deep for Shawty. In his eyes, he had helped Tip shine when nobody else would, and now that Tip was on top, he was acting brand new. From T.I.'s point of view, though, it wasn't personal at all. He didn't even realize at first that this was the same Shawty Lo who had once given him game when he was hustling in the shadows. But when he finally connected the dots, Tip doubled down on his no. What could have been a partnership turned into a grudge. The fire really sparked in 2007 when T.I. got caught up in one of the biggest federal weapons cases in hip-hop history. Just hours before he was set to perform at the BET Hip Hop Awards, the feds swooped in, catching him trying to buy machine guns and silencers. The charges were deadly serious, and with his rap sheet, T.I. was staring at a possible decade behind bars. Fans thought it was curtains for him, but then came the twist that shook the game. Instead of 10 years, Tip got sentenced to just a single year. And even then, he only served a few months before walking free.
Bankhead, man, you know what I'm saying? We won't know, man. How you seen T.I.? How you seen him? Y'all gonna try to keep somebody else? Well, we won't know, man. How y'all seen T.I.? Is he from Bankhead?
Man, we ain't seen no wearing these bricks, man.
The deal looked way too sweet, and people started asking how in the world that was possible. That's when Shawty Lo saw his moment. In interviews, he started dropping sly hints that Tip must have cut a deal with the feds. He never said it outright, but the shade was heavy. He was painting Tip as a snitch.
I-285 is back open after a deadly crash in South Fulton.
And in hip-hop, that's the one label that can destroy you forever. From that moment on, the rumor stuck to T.I. like glue, shadowing his career for years and adding gasoline to a rivalry that was already burning hot. Even when Tip tried to play it cool, he wasn't about to let Shawty Lo clown him unchecked. In his 2007 hit Big Things Poppin', fans were convinced he slid in subliminal shots aimed right at Shawty, mocking rappers who once laughed at him but now begged for collabs. Whether Tip meant it or not, the streets took it as a jab, and it only made the feud hotter. Then came the moment that really stung, an MTV interview with DJ Sway. When Sway asked if Shawty Lo was even competition, Tip laughed like it was comedy. He brushed it off, saying he didn't need anybody's name to get attention. That dismissive laugh cut deeper than any diss track. Shawty went from feeling disrespected to feeling erased. So Shawty decided to go all in. No more subliminals. He attacked Tip's core identity, his Bankhead roots. Tip had always repped Bankhead in his rhymes, wearing it like a badge of honor, but Shawty flipped the script, claiming nobody in Bankhead even knew Tip, accusing him of fabricating his entire backstory. It was more than just rap beef. It was a direct strike at his manhood, his authenticity, his legacy. Then Shawty dropped his diss track Dun Dun with that infamous line, "Dude said he from the west side? Well, it must be two sides." That bar hit like dynamite, sparking endless debates across Atlanta. Was Tip really from the soil he claimed?
You know what I'm saying? He a great rapper. I'm from the streets for real. That's what I do for real. I'm on Bankhead for real. 2610. He's talking about y'all come and do something. Where we at right now?
Back when
Or was he selling a false image? To push the point further, Shawty filmed himself cruising around Bankhead.
I didn't know T.I.P. I know everybody at school or high school didn't like him. So I got a reward, man. If y'all send me the yearbook pictures or something that's showing where he from, man, I will pay y'all personally.
Putting locals on camera and asking if they even knew Tip. The footage was brutal. It made Tip look like a stranger in his own hood.
A song called Let's Get It that T.i.p. would've got on.
This was no longer a lyrical sparring match. It was war over respect and credibility. The city was buzzing, fans picking sides, the media feeding on every jab. The tension grew with every verse, every interview, every rumor. And finally, Tip had enough. He clapped back with his own diss, "What's up, what's happening?" But he didn't just rap. He made a statement, shooting the video in Bowen Homes, a project tied directly to Shawty himself. Tip wasn't just spitting bars, he was planting his flag right in Shawty's backyard. Atlanta had officially turned into a battlefield, and both men were swinging for legacy, not just bragging rights. That move was a straight-up power play. Tip wasn't just shooting a video in Bowen Homes, he was planting a flag in Shawty's own territory, daring him to respond.
I never looked to gain acknowledgement or recognition by mentioning anyone else's name. It was an issue with me and another person. It was an issue with me and another person. It wasn't a publicity stunt or a marketing tool.
In the track, he clowned Shawty's whole act, mocking him for driving around Bankhead desperate for clout, asking random folks about his name. Tip doubled down on his crown as Atlanta's king, rapping that no matter what rumors flew, the streets still respected him. At that point, the beef had gone way past subliminal sneak disses. It was full-on war, and there was no turning back. By late 2008, the feud between T.I.P. and Shawty Lo was one of the hottest topics in Atlanta hip-hop, and everybody was watching, waiting to see who would fold first. Both men had fired off heavy shots, and instead of cooling down, the tension was only heating up. Things finally hit a boiling point at the Dirty Awards in Atlanta that November, a night etched in history for all the wrong reasons. Both Tip and Shawty pulled up deep with their entourages, and you could feel the air buzzing with danger. Even before the first act hit the stage, folks knew something wild might go down, and they were right. When Shawty Lo took the stage, he could have played it safe, but instead he doubled down and lit the fuse, performing his diss track Dun Dun right there in front of Tip's people. That was like striking a match in a room drenched with gasoline. Members of Tip's camp weren't having it. Reports say chairs went flying toward the stage mid-performance, chaos broke loose, and security had to rush in to shut the whole show down before it turned into a riot on live display. But even during the pause, the tension didn't let up. Word is Tip and Shawty actually crossed paths backstage, and for a split second, it looked like peace might be possible. Witnesses say the two exchanged words and even shook hands as if they were ready to bury the hatchet. But whatever truce was born in that moment, it didn't last more than a few minutes. Atlanta's hip-hop scene was on edge, and the war was far from over. When the show finally picked back up and Tip hit the stage, he couldn't resist taking one last jab at Shawty Lo in front of the entire crowd. That little shade was the spark that blew the whole powder keg sky high. Suddenly, the Dirty Awards weren't about trophies anymore. They turned into a full-blown battlefield. Fists flew, chairs crashed, entourages collided. It was chaos on a level rarely seen in hip-hop history. Tip's crew and Shawty's crew clashed right there in the building, with fans screaming and ducking for cover. Police stormed in, and they didn't come gentle. They unleashed pepper spray into the madness. In the middle of the storm, Shawty Lo himself caught a face full of it, stumbling as the melee raged around him. The entire show had spiraled into mayhem, cementing its place as one of the wildest nights in rap beef culture. After that, there was no turning back. This wasn't just music anymore. It was the talk of the whole industry. Every blog, every radio host, every fan had an opinion, and everybody was dissecting what went down. Shawty Lo kept pressing the issue, mocking Tip in interviews, cracking jokes, and even spreading rumors that Tip got punched in the face during the fight. For a while, it looked like there'd be no end. Just more diss tracks, more confrontations, maybe even blood in the streets. This feud had become way bigger than rap. It was about pride, reputation, and legacy. Neither man wanted to look like the one who folded first, and Atlanta itself felt like it was holding its breath, watching two of its biggest figures tear each other apart. But then, in a twist nobody expected, the war cooled down. After months of back and forth, both men realized dragging it out forever wasn't worth it. Atlanta didn't need its stars turning the city into a war zone, so against all odds, Tip and Shawty Lo squashed the beef, for real this time. To prove it, they even hit the stage together at Tip's club in Atlanta. That moment sent shockwaves through the culture. After all the diss tracks, insults, and chaos, seeing them side by side showed that not every hip-hop feud has to end in tragedy. For Atlanta, it was powerful. Two men who had once been enemies now standing together. From there, they both continued to carve their paths. Tip climbed even higher, cementing his throne as King of the South with platinum hits and mainstream respect. And while Shawty Lo never reached Tip's commercial peak, his name remained legendary in the streets, a symbol of a butt. Even without the same commercial run as Tip, Shawty Lo stayed a respected figure in Atlanta, a man who stamped his name through D4L, his solo grind, and his unforgettable presence in the city. Over time, their feud became more like a legendary memory, a wild chapter fans would bring up whenever they talked about classic Atlanta rap drama. Still, no matter how much the dust settled, the chaos and tension they created together became locked into both of their legacies. But Shawty Lo's story didn't end in music or peace. It ended in heartbreak. On September 21st, 2016, Atlanta woke up to devastating news. Shawty Lo was gone after a fatal car crash. That night started like so many others. He was at the Blue Flame Lounge, a famous strip club in the city, hanging with his crew, laughing, enjoying life. Nobody could have predicted it would be his last ride. Around 2 in the morning, he left the club in his Audi A7 with 2 women riding along. Reports say he was speeding down the highway, living fast the way he always had. The women even told him to slow down, but tragically, he didn't take it seriously. In seconds, everything went wrong. He lost control of the car, which flew over a guardrail and smashed into 2 trees with devastating force. Shawty wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and the impact threw him out of the vehicle. By the time paramedics got there, it was too late. He was already gone. The 2 women survived, but what happened afterwards sent shockwaves through the city. According to reports, those women took all the money Shawty had on him before leaving the scene. That detail left fans furious, confused, and heartbroken. It was a bizarre twist in an already tragic night. To make it even more haunting, Shawty had just lost his father the week before the crash, adding a chilling layer to the pain. Atlanta didn't just lose a rapper that night. They lost a hometown figure who embodied the raw energy of the city. His death turned one of hip-hop's most unforgettable rivalries into a bittersweet memory stamped in history. Just a week before his death, Shawty Lo had recorded a tribute song called Letter to My Father, a heartfelt track for the man he just lost. And then, in a cruel twist of fate, Shawty himself was gone too. The timing shook people to the core, fueling whispers of darker theories. Some fans refused to believe the crash was that simple. They wondered if there was more behind it. But in the end, there was never any real proof of foul play. The truth looked brutally clear. Shawty was driving too fast without a seatbelt, and it cost him his life. For Atlanta and the hip-hop world at large, the loss was devastating. When the news broke, the city was in shock. They hadn't just lost another rapper, they had lost a cultural figure who carried a unique piece of Bankhead's soul. Shawty wasn't just known for the hits, he was known for keeping it real, for standing tall in his community, and for igniting one of the most unforgettable feuds in Southern rap history. The tributes came pouring in immediately, and in one of the most surprising yet powerful moments, T.I., the very man Shawty once went to war with, was among the first to honor him. Tip hit Instagram with a heartfelt message calling Shawty a pioneer, a legend, and someone who left a lasting imprint on Atlanta's music scene. For fans who remembered their fiery feud, it was proof that no matter how messy things got, the respect underneath never truly faded. Other heavyweights stepped up too. Metro Boomin shared a studio picture of him with Shawty, Future, and Young Scooter, captioned, "Long live the King of Bankhead." Future himself echoed it, reminding the world that legends never die, and Shawty's name would forever carry weight in the city. Atlanta lost a voice that night, but the legacy Shawty Lo built, from the streets to the stage, cemented him as more than just an artist. He was an icon of the city's spirit, flaws and all. Lil Yachty paid his respects by posting an old interview clip of Shawty Lo, showing love on Twitter and reminding fans just how much he meant to Atlanta. Even Gucci Mane, one of Shawty's longtime friends, reacted to the heartbreaking news with a raw post. "Damn it, man, R.I.P. Shawty Lo." That summed up how the whole city felt. Atlanta's rap scene stood still, united in grief and respect for a man who had become part of its DNA. For the younger generation of artists coming up, Shawty's passing was a wake-up call. His crew, D4L, had helped shape the lane that made Atlanta's rap sound explode in the mid-2000s. Without that wave, the culture might not have gone as global as it did. Legendary hip-hop stories alive and support the channel.